Hello everybody, VMO50 here after a long hiatus, more or less, of making videos of any kind. Not for lack of a desire to make them, mind you, just, obligations with the real world and what have you. But today, I happen to have something that I couldn't help but go ahead and just make a video about, and you'll have to forgive the poor lighting and all that jazz. Kind of what I have to work with, you know what I mean? Anyway. In the mail today, I received a package that I've been looking forward to for some time. A package that in my previous unboxing video, I mentioned would come after this. And as you might expect, yes, this is gonna get quite monumental. But anyway, I have in my possession right now said package. Those of you who have read the title below, why would you have clicked on this video if you didn't read the title? That would be kind of silly, but anyway. This box has not been opened, although I did pop the tape a little bit to make it a little easier to get off. So we're going to take these scissors here, clip the tape very gently. And I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. This has been a long time coming, so without any further ado, let's get this open. So, nice packaging tape. All good there. By the way, this came through the official Toys R Us online store, so I'll be sure to give a quick review of how well it came in. Has a nice receipt here. I'm not going to show you guys it for legal reasons. This Boomco thing, again, this is my first time ordering through Toys R Us, so I've never done this quite before. Thank you for shopping with us, all that jazz. And here comes the beast itself. It's a big one, too. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Legacy Dragonzord. I've got to tell you, this is a absolutely huge thing for me, because growing up, this was like, along with the Megazord and all the other Zords, like, I always wanted a, original Megazord. Now I have one over here now, and I've always wanted the Dragonzord, and I could never get the original one, but now I have one. And this actually, from what I've been told, surpasses the original Dragonzord by a bit of a margin because it's die-cast metal parts. They've actually fixed the tail articulation problem. In the originals, it always fell off. So, 11-inch articulated tail right there. You see that? Articulated tail. That was not on the original. In fact, in the original packaging, they gave you also a giant Green Ranger toy in there at the same time. Have a nice story on there, but anyone who's seen the Power Rangers before, even knows it, probably has the idea. And on the back, they show, what you can do. You can take the Dragonzord and the Megazord and either make Dragonzord in fighting mode or the Mega Dragonzord, which is also cool. On the side here, they have stats, and it reads as follows. Dragonzord, height 124 feet tall, 203 feet in length, 340 pounds, 340,000 pounds. So that's somewhere on the order of at least 100 tons. Max speed is 86 miles per hour. Not that fast, but hey, he can swim faster than that, I know. Weapon power laser drill. Laser drill? I wouldn't have called it that, but anyway. So, okay, one thing I have to mention, it is a little scuffed up, but again, this was sent through the mail, so gotta take what you can get, and I'm not gonna dock really any points for slight scuffing due to mail packaging. I wish I could have found this in a store, but there were no Toys R Us anywhere within 50 miles of where I lived that had this available for purchase, so I had to go to outside channels, as it were. So this is the first official unboxing of this toy, so let's open her up and see what we have. Gotta be tender with this, because of the... there we go. Let's take a whiff. Factory sealed, factory fresh. Okay, so let's pull it out here. Get it angled down so you guys can see. Take this gently. Like the original, like the Megazord Legacy toy, cardboard. We've got pieces here, and this looks absolutely amazing, people. I cannot begin to tell you. You've got his little tail tip here, which looks a lot bigger than the versions of the tail that I saw of the Dragonzord toy from 1983 on eBay. It's got a nice metallic finish on it, but it's not die cast. This is plastic. You've got a few sets of hands here. You've got some semi-closed hands, like they're flexing, and then open hands for when he goes missile fingers, because the Dragonzord was known to fire missiles off of his fingers, which I always thought as a kid was absolutely awesome, because it's like he can, you know, he can make a handshake lethal if he absolutely wanted to, or, you know, just point at you and then, and next thing you know, boom. Here's the main tail section, still wrapped in the plastic, and let's get it out here. Let's get this open. Okay, so you pull the tail section apart like that to help articulate it, and it doesn't have a huge range of articulation, but it does have some but it is articulated, and especially in comparison to the original ones. And you see on here on the side, there are already some stickers, if I can get the light to catch those. So it does have some articulation, so let's put his tip of his tail at the end there. And it's kind of a ball joint, so it will move around with the rest of the tail. But if you want to sync it all back up, very quick, very easy. The tails doesn't feel like it has any die-cast metal in it, so most of the die-cast parts are probably with it. Now this stand here is for when he goes for fighting mode, so we'll get to that when we get to it. So here's the main bulk of it, the Dragonzord himself. So, fun fact, in Japan he was known as Dragon Caesar. So, let's take him out. And he's heavy, he's very heavy. He's where most of the weight is in him. He's got some leg articulation there, his foot has some, it's a little stiff articulation, but it's still articulation. And interesting thing here, he's got these Z's on his feet. That's actually a holdover. Now, some fans have said that in Power Rangers that's supposed to represent, you know, it was originally made by Zordon, which doesn't make much sense since Dragonzord was owned by Rita, technically, but some fan theories have said that, you know, Zordon lost the Dragonzord to Rita in a coin contest, but that's neither here nor there. The cool thing is that in the original Japanese show, Zyuranger, that Z was actually a reference to the Zyurangers. So, okay, so he's got two standing modes. So we'll flip his feet forward, like that, so we can get him into a more proper standing position. Or more like this. You can tell it's my first time playing with him, literally. So, put the tail in. Okay, once it's in there, it's nice and tight. Gonna go ahead and articulate it so it won't drag on the ground. And you can tell, it's a nice long tail. He's not going anywhere. So let's angle his feet, give him some balance, and let's open up his arms. Okay, this is going to be a little interesting. A nice maw there. Sorry if I'm not talking a whole lot, I'm just looking at this and like absolutely enthralled. Strange I didn't see any instructions or any sticker sheets. Oop, I spoke too soon. Always, always, always look for the instructions, folks. Okay, so, instruction sheet right here. So, we're trying to get him into proper Dragonzord mode. So, we want his arms to come out of here. There they go. And his arms, it seemed like, have some pegs in them. So we gotta rotate those out. So you rotate out these pegs, You can see that right there. You rotate out that little peg. And then you put his hand on, make sure it's the right side, the proper side. This is his right hand. Oop. And you gotta be careful with that, because this, you know, is... The hands are plastic, by the way, so careful with those. Gotta kinda push it on there, and since it's a 360 thing, it'll want to move, but there you go. So we got his first hand on. So there's one hand. And then bring his other arm out. And turn his side up. And get this hand popped on there nice and tight. And bring it in. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have, for your viewing pleasure, a full Dragonzord. I gotta say, he looks great. But, as anyone who's ever seen the Power Rangers knows, it isn't over with the Dragonzord. And I'm surprised that there doesn't seem to be any external stickers to put on. He seems to be all, this is all filigree in here. This is all like, all this detail here, this is all paint. And if it's stickers, it's been pre-applied. So all this, it's all nice, shiny, metallic stuff. So, he's all pre-stickered. So you won't have to worry about that, it looks like. But, as anyone who's ever seen the show knows, the Dragonzord was never a solo Zord for long. He always had the ability to do some backup. But let's just take a look here. I mean, I'm like looking at this and I'm like wowed out of my skull, because he doesn't have a whole lot of movement or range, but he doesn't have to because he's an awesome Zord. The concept, this is basically a Godzilla in armor plating, and that alone is worth it. But I'm gonna fast forward this next part because I'm gonna skip ahead here actually to when I get the other Zords out, so we can do this proper. Because you know what, we're gonna have ourselves a little Mega Dragonzord action. Okay, hey folks, back again. So for the so first we're gonna do Dragonzord in fighting mode, and to do that we need the Mastodon arms, also known as his back feet, and the saber-tooth tiger and the Triceratops. We do not need the Tyrannosaurus and the Pterodactyl for this, so we're going to leave them in the box for right now, because we're going to do the Megazord, Mega Dragonzord mode later. So to get the Dragonzord in fighting mode, first thing we have to do on the Dragonzord himself is we need to take his hands off, because we don't need those hands for right now. What we're going to do next is we're going to take off his center chest piece here. Oops, sorry, that was the Triceratops falling over. Silly me. And we need to take his chest piece off, which looks like is done very gently. So we're gonna loosen up his arm joints. And it takes a little tug to get his center chest piece off. It actually connected to this part back here. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to open him up a little bit. A little open heart surgery for the big guy. So, how does it say to... Oh, okay, I see. So what we're going to do here, first we're going to take off his tail, because this is going to get a little messy. Take a little force to get it off, but now we open him up down the middle, and he opens up, sorry, like so. Also for when he does the Mega Dragonzord part. You can tell this is my first time ever doing this because I'm flying completely blind here. So now that we've split him, almost bisected him really, we're going to take the same pegs that we did before for the hands. We're going to fold those in, and then we're going to put them in like that. Then we're going to take his chest plate, and we're going to take his side armor and make it into a chest plate like this. So you're gonna bring it around, and it comes together on hinges, and it snaps together like that. Make his chest plate there, and then from there, what we do, it looks like according to the instructions, is after making that happen, we then take these right here. These are little hinges, so we're going to bend his leg down for a second, and we're going to take these hinges. There's a little flap right here. I don't have much in the way of fingernails, but we're going to take these hinges up on both legs, and they're on this little floppy hinge. So we're going to take these up, straighten his legs out. Then we're going to bring his legs in so that they clip like that. We got him like that. Now, there's one other major part we need to do here. We need to take his arms, which I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to connect them on there. Okay. We need to take the arms off of the Megazord to do this. They put some serious engineering into this, I can tell. You take this, snap it in there. Snaps in like that on sides. Then you take Mastodon arm number 1, put it in, and then Mastodon arm number 2 to put it in. That one leg's gonna bug me. And then okay, so we've done that part, that part, that part. Now we just need to tilt down his head so we see his Megazord face. And now comes the fun part. The real fun part. You take his chest piece, which has this little part on the back, pull it out. Then you take the staff that came with it. Then you put A to B, as it were. Oh my. Make it into a shield harness of sorts. Then you take his tail, which in the show and in the instructions says to be, looks to be straight. So again, oh my. So now we take that, line it up, and it lines up fairly well. And it's a little unwieldy, but there you go. And in order to get him to hold it, there's this little peg on the back here that folds out, and you just put the peg in his hand and he'll hold it up. Now granted, they rarely use this form in the show, but there you go. Dragonzord in fighting mode. Whew. Don't mind telling you, that was a bit of a try. But now then, we're gonna get to the main event. The big kahuna of all these. Let's have some fun, shall we? I'll fast motion this part, no worries. Apologies, my dear people, one moment. Hey, sorry about that, folks. I actually had to turn the camera off and actually look up a little help to see if I was getting everything right with the Dragonzord here, because as I'm sure you might well know already, this head thing is quite tricky to get on there quite exactly as intended, and it's a little finicky, I'll have to say. But then again, this is a toy design that was made back in 1993, so the unsteadiness of it all is kind of indicative of the toys of that period because, you know, heaven forbid, they actually had good toy engineering back then, but I digress. So yeah, this is the full Mega Dragonzord, and it's gonna pop like that. It's not gonna quite stay completely flush all the time, sad to say, because of just, you know, the design and how much weight there is. Now there are some little clips in here that'll hold it down to here, but not too much, I've found. They don't do a whole lot, and they seem to actually kind of bow and flex under how, because they're plastic and the rest of it's, you know. But anyway, I dare say that that looks, you know, pretty darn good, all things considered. Now, only one thing we need to do left now, which is put the pterodactyl shield back on, and there we go. And then you have full Mega Dragonzord, ladies and gentlemen, all ready to destroy enemy monsters and save the day and all that jazz. So, again, sorry for all the ins and outs here, but this was my admittedly longer than I expected review of the Mega Dragonzord and the Dragonzord toy 2011 2014, 2013 re-release in general, with the Legacy Megazord to boot. One thing I will have to say is that the feet sometimes don't perfectly click in, so you're gonna have to work with that, these feet here. But one thing I have to commend it on is all of what used to be stickers on here, from what I am told, are now die-cast metal, and, you know, and if it's not metal, it's very well polished and very well painted plastic, excuse me. And anything that isn't die-cast metal, like the Megazord Legacy thing that I did, the Legacy Megazord review that I did a while ago, even the parts that aren't die-cast are still, like, top-notch in terms of quality. The only thing is that, you know, this being like a 20-year-old plus mold, there are going to be some parts of it that are a little head-scratching for those of us who never had this toy when we were young, and like myself, I actually had to look parts of this up. But overall, I'd say that the Legacy Dragonzord, you know, it's a bit of a try to get it to work with the Mega Dragonzord, but as the Dragonzord itself, it's beautiful. And, you know, spare hands, you got the tail and the chest piece left over. But, yeah, I would definitely recommend this for Power Ranger fans, even if it is a little bit different than what we're used to nowadays. So definitely go out and buy this, and you know, if you're a big fan of the Power Rangers and you know someone who is, this is a great gift for them. The Legacy Megazord is too, for that matter, and when Titanus finally comes out, it'll take a little longer than, you know, like this did, because I planned on getting this back in February, and now it's August when this video came out, so it's a little longer than I anticipated, but hey, you can't always get what you want when you want, right? So anyway, this has been the MO50 with my ad hoc review of the Legacy Dragonzord unboxing. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all next time. See you later.